Well, hey, welcome to this device refresh session. My name is Rob McGilvery, and I'm the America Specialist for Windows Pro here at Microsoft. And today I just kind of wanted to spend a few minutes talking about Windows 11 and how the business computing challenges are changing in today's market. You know, when we first launched Windows 11, a lot of the conversations we were having with customers were around, hey, post-pandemic, I have these devices that were within the four walls of my organization. Now they're out there in the wild. And now I'm really focused on trying to figure out how I can get visibility into those devices and make sure I'm maintaining those devices and keeping those devices up to date and secure. As we fast forward to now, we're really seeing a big shift. We're really seeing things like user experience become top of mind for a lot of customers. How can they make sure that they're enabling their employees with the best experience possible? We know that hybrid work is kind of gone. We're now in this new flexible work style where we know that individuals can either work from home or they're going back to the office. We're back in person meetings. We still know that security continues to be top of mind for a lot of organizations. And then, wow, we have this new AI computing wave, right? AI is here and it was here fast. And organizations are really trying to figure out how they can implement AI in their organization and do that securely. And they're really looking for the first best step in their AI strategy within their organization. And when we think about Windows 11, that really is the answer to a lot of these challenges. You know, Windows 11 is the most secure version of Windows ever, and I'll talk a little bit more about our four key pillars around security. But we are seeing a 58% reduction in security instances on a Windows 11 PC versus a Windows 10 PC. We also are really focused on how can we increase the end user experience and how can we leverage AI across the entire operating system. I'll probably say this a few times that AI innovation at Microsoft is not just Copilot, and I'll talk about how we're bringing AI innovation into the entire Windows 11 platform. And then we think about IT management. In this transition, we know that Windows 10 end of support is coming. And so we have 99% app compatibility between Windows 10 and 11. And I'll talk a little bit more about that, really what Windows 11 is from a technical perspective here in a few minutes. So when we think about security, we're really focused around four key elements in security with Windows 11. First, we want to reduce those attacks. So what can we do out of the box to make sure that we're providing the most secure experience possible for an organization and their end users? We did raise the base hardware requirements to run Windows 11 by requiring things like TPM 2.0, so we could turn on virtual-based security to make sure we're really protecting the core of that PC. We also want to stay ahead of evolving threats. How can we use AI and intelligence to make sure that we're staying ahead of these evolving threats? And we continue to bring innovations into features like Windows Hello for Business, where we're bringing in passkey support, and we're also bringing in presence sensing as well into that identity management solution directly on PC. We also want to make sure our applications are running in isolation, protecting it against the rest of the operating system. And then we're continuing to invest in our end-to-end protection when customers have moved to cloud endpoint management and continuing to bring features into Intune that can really help IT feel more confident when they're managing devices from the cloud. So let's talk a little bit more about AI. I will briefly talk about Copilot in Windows here in a second, but when we think about AI, we are infusing AI across the entire operating system in Windows 11. We're bringing new features in like AI-powered recommendations. So if you log in with your Entra ID, formerly Azure Active Directory, and you open your File Explorer, you're now going to see suggestions based on usage, relevant files, maybe a file that was shared with you. And AI is going to really help end users get access to their files quicker based on these AI-powered recommendations. We're also using AI for security. I briefly mentioned this a second ago. We have a new feature in Windows 11 called Enhanced Phishing and Protection with Microsoft Defender Smart Screen. This sits at the OS level. And a very high level explanation of this feature is really what we're going to do is that if an end user visits a site or a third-party application that's been flagged with Microsoft as being malicious and they input their credentials, we're actually going to proactively ping that end user and say, hey, look, we think something bad can happen. You might want to contact IT and go through a password reset. When you think about meetings, I know there's a lot of buzz out there around this new term called an AI PC and this new chip called a neural processing unit. And when we think about that, we think about the evolution that we've seen and all the progressions we've seen in technology. We now have this new AI chip on the PC. And we think about a way really around the art of the possible of how we could leverage this new silicon is really around meetings. So we have a new feature in Windows 11 that leverages the neural processing unit called Windows Studio Effects. So what we're doing is we're taking that standard video processing, background blur, noise cancellation off the CPU or GPU, and we're freeing up those resources so they can focus on other processes. We're then putting that on the MPU. So we're improving the overall performance of the device by taking that workload off the CPU, GPU. But then we think about, hey, how can I now leverage this new AI chip to improve the experience? And so with Windows Studio Effects, we're going to see better background blur, portrait blur, eye gaze correct, better noise cancellation. And so we're really enhancing the experience by also improving the performance at the PC when we think about how we leverage some of these new silicon elements that are hitting the market. And then we think about accessibility. We want to make sure that we are creating the most accessible version of Windows ever with Windows 11, where we're bringing in things like natural voice interaction, live captioning, narrator support, all at the OS level to really make sure that we're providing the most inclusive experience in Windows 11. We're also innovating across tools that we know end users are using on a daily basis. My personal favorite one is the snipping tool. So if you ever use the snipping tool and taken a screenshot of something, and you want to use that text in another file format, historically, you would need to write that text out. And so what we've done is we've actually brought AI in the snipping tool where now you can extract that text and copy and paste it out and put it in the other format. So we're infusing AI in tools across the entire Windows 11 ecosystem. We also have this new feature called Copilot in Windows. I know we have a lot of Copilots here at Microsoft, but Copilot in Windows is really that UX and that interface for end users to really start enjoying their AI experience across the entire Copilot platform at Microsoft. So this is a UX directly on the desktop, and Copilot in Windows can really do three core things. First, it can give you access into a generative AI large language model. When you log in with your Entra ID or your Azure Active Directory credentials, you get that commercial data protection element where no one at Microsoft can see your data, and your data is not used to train the large language model. So it gives you access into the benefits of generative AI and a large language model. It also gives you what we call Copilot skills across the entire operating system. And this is where we see a lot of excitement and hear a lot of excitement from IT is, hey, look, I can direct end users to interact with Copilot in Windows first if they're looking to change a setting on their PC. A great example is, hey, I want to add a Bluetooth device, but I don't really remember how to do that process. Historically, I may have just opened up a help desk ticket. Now I can actually interact with Copilot Windows and say, hey, I want to add a Bluetooth device. And it'll take me directly to that menu and provide me with instructions on how to add a Bluetooth device to my PC. And so we call those Windows skills. So really Copilot skills across the entire Windows platform. And then when you get access to Copilot for Microsoft 365, there's direct integration with that into the Copilot and Windows UX interface. You actually get a toggle at the top where you can switch between the web, going out to a large language model, or you can go Microsoft 365 chat. That toggle switch then takes you into your tenant. You can actually leverage AI with information within your own tenant. And so it's really that AI assistant directly on the desktop. And so I know I've talked about a lot, and to close this session out, I think it's really important to understand that, hey, look, the clock is ticking. Windows 10 end of support is October 14th of 2025. It's going to be here before we know it. And so it's very important for us to get with our customers to help them understand where they're at in their Windows 10 journey and how we can help them create a plan to move to Windows 11. Again, Windows 11 is just the next version of Windows 10. So I'll say this again. Windows 11 is the next version of Windows 10. It's built on the same kernel. So it is a feature update or an in-place upgrade to a eligible piece of hardware. And when I say eligible, because we did raise the base hardware requirements to run Windows 11. And so a very important aspect of this is that we help our customers understand which devices in their environment can move to Windows 11 that are eligible and which ones aren't, and help them with a plan to get to Windows 11 fully ahead of this October 2025 end of support date and create a refresh plan for those devices that are not eligible. And once they get their environment fully over to Windows 11, they're going to be able to experience all those things that I talked about, from the most secure version of Windows ever and really truly an AI investment across the entire Windows 11 platform. The last thing I'll close out with in this session is really around app compatibility. So we understand that anytime a customer moves or migrates an operating system, app compatibility really is probably one of the primary concerns that they have. And so we want our end users to know, hey, look, app compatibility is by design with Windows 11. As I mentioned, it is an in-place upgrade. It is a feature update that can be deployed with the existing tools in the customer's environment to those eligible PCs that can run Windows 11. It's built in the same kernel. And with all of that, we're seeing a 99.7% app compatibility rate between Windows 10 and 11. We also want to stand behind that app compatibility promise. And so we have a program at Microsoft called Microsoft App Assure. So we actually guarantee that if you have an application running on Windows 10 today and you encounter any issues with it running on Windows 11, we actually have a team of engineers that will get involved free of charge for all customers and all third-party ISVs to help them figure out why their app is having compatibility issues when they've updated a system from Windows 10 to 11. And so with that, I just want to say, hey, look, thank you again for joining this quick session. We're very excited about Windows 11 and the continued AI innovation that we're bringing into the Windows 11 platform. And so we want to know that, look, Windows 10 end of support is coming. We want all of our customers to know that a great first step in their AI journey is to migrate their environment over to Windows 11, get all their users interacting with all these great new AI features that we're bringing into the platform. And again, just thank you for your time.